Good morning, trading world. It is 9 minutes after 8 a.m., March 30th, 2021, and this is my pre-market outlook. Today's theme, short week plus volatility holding yesterday equals big move today or pretty much the rest of the week. Before I get into today's theme, I want to go back and address something. I made a statement. I was kind of rushing to get the outlook out a day or two ago, and I made a statement saying that short squeeze, gamma squeeze, all the same. That is not quite true. I wanted to clear that up. They are very similar, but they are not the same. I gave you the explanation for a short squeeze, which is basically a quick version. Everybody's shorting at an area and it goes the opposite way, and then you have buyers buying in at that level, and then people who were short have to buy to close their shorts, adding into the buying frenzy, which makes the price have an explosive jump. The gamma squeeze is similar but not the same. The gamma squeeze is basically when the stock price goes up very quickly within a short period of time, and the money flows into options, more or less the calls, causing buying activity to lead the stock price even higher. And that gets into this whole area of dynamic hedging that the big funds do when you start dealing with the actual underlying stock price. But that's for another or later date, whole nother conversation, trying to explain it. But I just wanted to go back and address that. I wish I had the person's name who pointed that out, but they did go over that yesterday and kind of point that out to me or give me the note, but I was kind of rushing. I didn't want to go through the whole spiel for both because they're so similar. But back to today's theme. There's a lot of hints that I kind of picked up on yesterday. We do have a short trading week today. This week is only a 4-day trading week. Yesterday's internals about 3 p.m. seemed to peak, and then turnover thereafter, never really recovering. So when they turn over, that's a hint that it could spill over into today, and internals could be weak or weaker coming into today. That, along with volatility, even during the positive gains of most of yesterday, volatility never really backed off. I mean, we had a pullback in volatility, but it never backed off. So that was something that make you want to say, and just kind of keep an eye on that. Also, the TNX was kind of rising. We're back up in the 1.7 something area, and actually right now we're back up around 17.21, so that gives us a rate of 1.72. So that's another thing that has hinted that today is going to be worrisome and a big move. Also, looking at the market makers' expected move, the upside of that move puts us at about 402.8 on the SPY. The low side puts us at 389.16 on the SPY. Before the close of yesterday, even though I deal with the SPY a lot, I do look at other issues. I do look at the ES, the futures for the S&P 500. And for a while, even though we had closed, the market makers' expected move coming into the week was a little more than $69. So that's plus or minus $69. It means we have a chance to go either $69 up or $69 down. Now, we made it through a full trading day on the ES, and that move was still pretty close to $69. So that was another thing that make you say, Now, putting all of that together, another thing, I usually watch for the first of the month, because these are days, that first of the month is a more likely day of a trend day structure happening, because of the new inflows from all the fund managers. So that's going to make things exciting this week. So all of these things to kind of take consideration of where we are and where we could go makes it a possible, more than possible, that we have a very interesting and wild week ahead, even though it is short. So that prompts me to say buckle up, because it could get interesting these next couple of days. So now let's get into today's themes and the possible outcomes that could come into play today. All right, here on my 20-day hourly chart here, the first outcome, I have, if we hold below the resistance level of 396, we look for the following dominoes to fall. We break 394 area, which opens up a path to 390 area. Then it's possible to break the 390 area, which opens up a path to the 388 area and below. All right. So with me saying all that, it kind of puts us in the premise that it could be a setup for a trend day down today, because we do have a small gap down. We closed yesterday at 395.77, which is up here. Maybe not a small gap, but we do have a gap down. So if this is yesterday's close, what you want to look for is a retest, and this is going to be the area that allows you to get in short, but you have to be quick, because on a day like this, things could fall apart fast. So hopefully we get that test of yesterday's close, but anywhere up in here in this 394 area is or may prove to be a quality short. I mean, I'm already short, because when I saw the weakness of internals yesterday, because I had certain levels in play, I shorted at the before the end of the day, in anticipation of today. So we're looking here, and like I said, the dominoes, the first domino is that we break through the 394 area, which is right here. And then a small up to go even further down to the 390 area, and possible back up and then even further down. So that's how today's trading map could possibly look for outcome number one. Okay, one more quick look at outcome number one. I thought I'd go back and clean that up, make it look all nice and neat. But again, it's pretty much a downtrend day type structure. If we hold below the resistance area of 396, remember on the downtrend day structure, we open up with a gap down. It gives a half-hearted effort to try to go back and fill the gap, but fails, and then we're off to the races. That's usually how the downtrend day structure works. So that is the structure that has the highest probability today for me in what I'm looking at. So it has a probability of 50% chance of happening. All right, on to the next. All right, now here we have outcome number two. Again, trying to make it look nice and pretty for you. We have what's starting off, what would start off to be a range day type structure, but it could open up to be a lopsided range by either breaking higher or lower from these points. But if support holds around the 390 area, we could just basically consolidate between these areas up and down, going to test the low, then the high, then the low. Well, we don't know how many times, but that's a possibility of happening. And even though I give this a 10% probability of happening, this outcome is very likely or very important, because it could be the start of all three outcomes. All three outcomes could basically start in this very same format, where we try to go up and we either hold below 395, 396 area and then test down, but then break back up, and then number one could come back into play as long as we hold below yesterday's close of 395.77. But we could have this same particular theme going up close to 395.77, coming down, going back to retest it, and then breaking down to there and below. So outcome number two is very important, because this could be the beginning of both outcomes. So you kind of have to keep in mind. And just for me, any pop up into this area, I would be willing to take a short and just hold my stop above 397. I would be willing to risk that just so that I can participate in the greater outcome of this fall here. So that's how I would be approaching today, period. So that is outcome number 2, which is basically starting out to be a range day, but could end up into one of these lopsided range days where we get higher, lower, lower high, lower low. That could be something that plays out. Now, outcome number 3. All right, outcome number 3. We break through resistance of 396, which opens up a path up to 400. This has a 40% probability of happening. I'm geared up towards a down move today, but because of the way I map out the day, if we get this break of 396, I know to put away my bearish hopes and dreams of the day. So this is what we could see happening. We could see a rise, and we break the 396, come back, get a small pullback, and this would be your area to kind of get long and go with the momentum up, and we head towards 400. So outcome number 3, which I give a 40% probability of happening, that is pretty much outcome number 3 and how to prepare for today. Now, I do want to show you something else that has me kind of bared up today. It's because I see a higher time frame in control right now. Like, even as a day trader, you may trade from a 5-minute or hourly chart, whatever it may be. But you have to understand that this is kind of, the charts are set up kind of like a fractal. Like this version, there's a bigger version of this going on somewhere else, or in a higher time frame chart. And when I say that these moves will be controlled or coming from a higher time frame today, sometimes we get these moves where you're like, man, this is huge for an hourly move. And what's happening is that a higher time frame is in control, and it's not a necessarily big move for the higher time frame. It's just a big move for the smaller time frame, because the higher time frame has control right now. And right now the weekly has control, and I'm going to take you to the weekly here. All right, here we are with my 3-year weekly chart, and you can see some things at a better when you're looking from higher up. But some of the things that kind of caught my eye is that the MACD, the momentum on the weekly, wrong tool. Let me go back and change the tool. All right, the momentum on the weekly is negative, and has been negative for a while. As you can see, the volume average is headed down. We had a lot of bull volume, and as it tries to switch over to bear volume, see the volume diverging, less and less volume. You see volume less and less and price still going higher. That's a divergence. And pretty soon we run out of momentum. And this is the change in momentum. On the RSI, we are in overbought condition. So all of those things are kind of adding up today for me that we are going to come into kind of a bearish theme. And it may not be much for the weekly chart, but it's probably going to kick off and look like a big move on the hourly. And I expect today that we get neutral right here as momentum shifts over. So that's what I'm looking at. Either way, buckle up, because it seems as though we're in store for very volatile 2 days in this short trading week. That is pretty much it. As always, know your risk. And I hope you are hedged if you have a portfolio or long stocks. And as always, wishing you a profitable day. Have a great one.